Alright, I just saw M3GAN 2.0, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. So let's get right into it and try not to make this a 30-minute video. So spoiler alert, I'm going to be going into the story, the plot line, several different scenes, the ending, etc, etc. You have been warned. If you don't want spoilers, skip ahead to the part where I say, thoughts or rating or whatever, and, 8 times out of 10 there's no spoilers in that, so... If there are spoilers, I'll put in brackets spoilers, because I've noticed that I've done that. Anyway. If you're new to the channel, by the way, this is what it is. Spur of the moment, very unprofessional, but no script, no jump cuts. I just want to watch a movie, sit down, and talk about it. So sometimes I don't remember every little detail and all that kind of garbage, but I want it to be raw and real, so there you go. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get to the story. So, multiple years later, M3GAN is no more, quote unquote. Obviously, since there's a sequel, we know she is more, but as of now, no. She's dealt with, done, terminated, whatever you want to call it. Gemma is now quite anti-AI, so she's like doing interviews about it, about her story and everything like that. She's kind of taken the backlash she received for creating M3GAN, who ended up killing multiple people, don't forget, and twisting it to become sort of like an anti-AI online spokesperson slash hero. So that's an interesting twist. Remember in the first one, she's like, Katie's like, how much, screen time do we get? And Gemma's like, oh, I don't care, go out. And now she's like her parents limiting screen time and all that kind of stuff. So she's kind of done a 360 or whatever you want to say in the parental department. They're still not super tight, but you can tell there's a bond, you know what I mean? So that's happening. She's dating this new guy by the name of Christian, not Christian. I believe that was the name. I'm getting it wrong. Oops. But I'll be calling him Christian for the rest of the fucking... Shouldn't swear, sorry. The rest of the video. Whatever, M3GAN swears, so I'm allowed to swear. Yeah, so essentially that's where we're at. Katie has been taking Aikido, which is, I believe it's a Japanese martial art, but it's one of the less aggressive ones. So essentially, if you don't know, Aikido is one of the martial arts where you use the person's attacks against them. So you use their momentum to put them on the ground or to throw them away or, do whatever you gotta do. He throws a punch, you deflect and you twist the arm, that kind of thing. Not so much punching and kicking itself, but it is pretty effective from what I understand. Anyway, she's taking that, so her self-worth or whatever is a little bit better and whatnot. And she's, there's a scene at school where she sticks up for herself against a bully and whatnot. And, good for her. I'm not condoning, kids beating the hell out of each other, but... we all know, I'm not a parent, but I know people who are parents who are really frustrated at school's inability to curb bullying. So you know what? If that's what you got to do, that's what you got to do. But also, who the hell am I? I don't have kids, so I don't have really a right to say that. But anyway, I did. We're getting sidetracked. So, as of now, there is a military robot that's essentially... It's an AI infiltrator unit by the name of Amelia that this military contracting company is using. There's a whole thing where I think it's the Secretary of Defense or something like that comes in and is like, why are you using this without my authorization? And they're like, no, we're literally just loaning it to the Saudis for, their own use. So we're getting a field test, plus we're helping, our allies or whatever. Anyway, this robot, Amelia, is sent to this facility in some country that I don't know if it's named or not, but anyway. Maybe it is. I don't know. My face was like deep in popcorn, so bear with me if I don't remember every exact detail. Anyway, getting sidetracked again. She goes there, takes out all the guards and all the military units and infiltrates this place and rescues the doctor, and... They're watching everything on screen, I guess, through her eyes. And this contractor guy turns to the minister or whatever, or secretary or whatever you want to call him. It's like, see? Look at that. Mission accomplished. She got in there, took out everyone, doctor's safe. And then you hear bang, and they turn. Lo and behold, Amelia just shot the doctor. So they're like, that's not good. So they're trying to take over her controls, and basically Amelia shuts them out and says, yeah, I'm self-aware now, fuck off. Essentially. So there's a big investigation going on based on this robot's existence from the FBI. So the FBI infiltrates Gemma's home, who doesn't know that they're FBI, obviously. It just looks like someone's infiltrating the home. So they're hiding, and that's when M3GAN reveals that she's been around the whole time. She's basically, before her physical body was destroyed, she had uploaded herself, her consciousness, to online as well. So she's like infinite, essentially. And she's been watching, you know, her number one mission is still to protect Katie. Cool. So now, obviously, people are breaking in. Katie's in trouble. She makes herself known, talking to Gemma, reveals herself in, like, TV screens, like, as, like, her doll figure from the first movie and everything. So she has, I guess, visual memory of what she actually looks like, obviously. And says, listen, this is the story. These people are in here. I can help you. And okay. And she does. So these people break in, and Gemma and Katie are hiding. Katie doesn't know that M3GAN was talking to Gemma just yet. She just comes down the stairs and they quickly hide. All these special ops looking dudes in black with guns and stuff enter, and basically M3GAN uses like the Google Home app, I guess, that controls, you know, the lights, the fridge, the Roomba, everything you can think of, opens drawers to take out all of these soldiers, which is kind of hilarious. So one has one of them by the head or something, and then like the drawer opens and smokes him in the face, and the Roomba flies out and goes under his foot, and he goes flying and breaks his neck on the stairs or something like that, and ice cubes go flying out. It's like Home Alone, essentially. It's kind of great. Ends up taking everyone except for like the main FBI director, who basically sits down and says, listen, I got a warrant to look through your computer. You're under investigation. Gemma's like, what for? Turns out the blueprints and the coding and the programming and all that for M3GAN was released to the people that created Amelia, who is now on the loose and rogue. And they're kind of under the impression that she has sold this information. If she sold it to them, she might have sold it to Russia or China or North Korea or whoever's given her money. So she's under major treason investigation. And he lets her know, basically, yeah, you know, this might not end very well for you. You should probably cooperate. Anyway, takes her phone or whatever, frigs off, and that's when Gemma starts talking to M3GAN again. So they know about Amelia now. They know what her capabilities are. M3GAN wants to help, essentially because she's still programmed to protect Katie. So that's really adorable. Good on you, M3GAN. So that's fun. She wants a body, however, and understandably, Gemma's not down with that. She remembers that this doll tried to kill her, and she's like, I was upset. Basically, she goes along the lines of she's used these 2 years to kind of learn that, like, you know, she had an initial programming that Gemma herself gave her, that her number one priority is protect Katie, and everyone else, essentially, by default, is expendable. And there's, throughout the first part of the movie, there's kind of like a constant back and forth of that, and again, M3GAN is just sick of it. She's like, listen, I'm tired of taking shit for what you programmed me to do. And she kind of has a point, a little bit. I mean, she took it a little extreme, but she's an AI. It seemed like the most reasonable thing to do, I guess, so that's what she did. You eliminate the threat, right? Which she did multiple times. Anyway, that aside, so that's a whole dynamic. Obviously, Gemma's like, I'm not giving you a body. But they finally compromise. Gemma's like, okay, I can give you a body, but not, you know, a dangerous body, and we'll kind of treat it like sort of a test period. If you can prove, you know, you're trustworthy or whatever, then we can talk about giving you a full body. Anyway, transfers the data into this little screen you see with eyeballs that open, and it's Megan, and she looks down, and she's this little blue plastic robot about this big with like cute eyes and a smile, and right away she's like, what the fuck is this? Which yeah, that's fair. Anyway, that's her test. So there's this big gala event for this tech millionaire guy. His character, I don't remember the name. I really do apologize. I literally just saw this movie, but Goldfish Memory is Goldfish Memory. So he is essentially, he had visited Gemma earlier to try to work with her on this AI stuff that she's developing to do like it's like an exosuit essentially to help people who have lost motor functions walk again and, you know, lift things. So like for the workforce, basically she designed it to enhance human ability so that humans can do the jobs that everyone fears that robots and AI will take over, essentially the, you know, doing physical feats that humans cannot do. Well, with this exoskeleton type thing that's pretty nimble and small, honestly, you can do all that. They do a little demonstration and all that kind of stuff, etc. It goes wrong, obviously, because that's how it does. The investors are not thrilled. Whatever. Anyway, this big corporate exec guy, again, I can't remember his name. I think Appleton or like Appleton or something like that. It has Apple in it, so that's fun. We'll just call him the Apple Dude. So Apple Dude comes in and he wants to essentially work with Gemma. He says, I recognize what you're doing, and paired with my technology, and he stands up and he also has an exosuit. He's bound to a wheelchair, but his is enhanced even more. It's like right into his spinal column, I guess, and he has like a little chip on the side of his head that allows him to answer phone calls in his head. He can, walk and stuff, which is great. His eyes are like cameras, essentially 2020. I don't know if he lost his vision or whatever, but like this AI controls everything that I guess isn't, is I don't know how to explain it. Essentially, him as like an individual, so it helps, answer emails. He has like, Google Glasses, how it has like on the lenses you can see screens. Well, this is like he just sees it in the air, and he's like doing this and flipping through screens, and there's nothing in front of him, but he can see it. Anyway, super high tech stuff. Doesn't really matter at all. He wants to use Gemma's tech for Megan, essentially, because the AI part of that tech was super friggin' advanced. Fast forward to now, he's throwing this big gala, whatever, and we find out that the FBI people, when they stormed their house, had also told Gemma essentially everyone related to the project, Amelia, who had any link to it whatsoever, has been killed. And guess what? You created Megan, which is the same programming that is in Amelia, essentially. So, you're going to cooperate or we're not going to protect you. So anyway, it's kind of a tricky situation. So they know that she's going to be going to this event or whatever, and Christian is there too, and he's making his rounds, and the Chinese ambassador is there, and the Apple Dude is hosting it, whatever. He's basically showboating his tech, essentially. They infiltrate with like little blue plastic Megan. So Megan's basically gonna hack into their system. They need to get into this secure room or whatever, and there's this whole almost happening plot where Megan's like, you have something that's kind of useful. She's like, what that? She's like, you're moderately attractive. Very nice compliment. You could like seduce him and go to his like private quarters and then use his, and it's like, okay, well that's not something I want to do. But they don't have to, because they run into Cole, who apparently has a swipe card, who is at this event. And Gemma's obviously like, what the fuck, dude? Like, aren't you working with me? And he's like, listen, we're going under. I got to keep my options open, etc. So Megan, who is talking through the earpiece or whatever, I guess, is basically says, okay, well, this can bypass the flirtation part of the situation. She grabs a swipe card, enters the room, goes to the computers, plugs in little blue cute Megan, and she starts doing her thing, and she's talking like some other kind of AI, and I guess because they don't want anyone other than like her and Gemma to know at this point. So Cole is kind of like, he eventually catches on, obviously. And then cue Amelia. She seduces Appleton or Appleson or whatever the hell his name is, the tech dude with the chip and the wheelchair and all that. Seduces him. He brings her to her private quarters, which is the one that Gemma was the original plan, right? Go in there and do the thing. But Amelia has the same plan, obviously. It makes sense because M3GAN came up with the plan, same programming. Boom, there you go. So that's what she does. She pushes him around and ends up hacking into his system after he shows her that basically he can control like the power grid of the entire city. He's like, want to see something cool? And he brings up this little thing and punches some buttons, and like the entire power grid of half of the city goes out here crashing. And then he laughs and puts it back on. He's like, they say this is too much power for one person. Obviously, Amelia's like, that'll be useful for my cleanse the world of humanity cause. So she takes care of it. She hacks in, whatever, dispatches this dude by ripping the thing right out of his spinal column. All that garbage. She's basically very, very powerful now. She has the ability to link into the power grid, cause huge disruption to society in general. It's getting out of hand. M3GAN's like, okay, I need a friggin' body. There's a whole massacre scene in the lower part of the building as they realize that Amelia is actually there. The FBI guy's there as well, and he gets impaled against something by Amelia, who then chases... tries to... It's a big scene. You'll just watch it. It's fun. There's lots of action, lots of jumping. I skipped ahead. I'm sorry. So at this point... Oh my god. At this point, M3GAN has a body, I believe. Ugh. Okay, whatever. It doesn't matter. Anyway, let's just fast forward to M3GAN has a body. So she's been equipped, fully upgraded now. There's a big whole scene of like they steal a Maserati from this party and go back to their lair. So in Gemma's apartment, there's a whole underground lair section that apparently M3GAN has been using as her base, essentially, to rebuild herself in a physical form. She reveals herself to Katie after a little kind of quarrel between her and Gemma, and rolls out, and she's kind of like on treads and has like three-pronged claw arms and stuff, and she's pretty rough around the edges. All metal and wires, no skin or hair or anything like that yet. And at first she's kind of like, I don't want you to see me like this, and whatever. They have a little heart-to-heart, and basically Katie is kind of convinced, basically, okay, you know what, M3GAN, I understand what happened. M3GAN explains exactly what she said to Gemma, like, I regret all these things. I understand now. I've had 2 years to think about it, or however amount of time it was, and like whatever. So she wheels herself out, and basically they agree to build her a body. So we're gonna get some robot fighting. Oh yeah. They enhance her, like, her frame, make it more sturdy or durable or whatever, because you're going to be facing a military robot, so obviously this thing is designed to take more damage than, like, a child's friend doll, which already was pretty strong, but, like, by comparison, let's be real. They ask her, M3GAN, if she wants any requests. She says, yeah, make me a little taller, and they do, so she's taller. I don't know, I guess she went from, like, a kid doll to, like, a teenage doll. That sounds terrible. But whatever. That's what happens. She's ready to roll, essentially. So there's they go to this... Oh man, what was the first thing? They go to... Okay, so there's two scenes where they... Maybe I'm mixing the two together. I don't know. All I remember is there's a scene where they go to this big gala, and M3GAN is... She takes out like a go-go dancer and wears her costume. So in the commercials, you'll see her with like a almost bowl cut hair, or like a shoulder length haircut with like pink. She has like glowing glasses on. She looks all like future retro. Don't worry, that's not her look for the whole movie. But anyway, she is like trying to be stealthy and infiltrate and find everything, and she ends up being on stage, and even Gemma's like, dude, like, get down, you're in view of everyone. And then, of course, the light shines on the go-go dancers, and then it shines on the next one, and then Megan's like, I don't like where this is going, and then boom, it shines on her. She's forced to do a little dance, which she does, and it's, you know, it's M3GAN, so she's got to dance, right? There's another part where she sings, because she's got to sing, right? Yes, that's the whole scene, then they steal the car. So I mixed up the scenes, my bad. Anyway, they find out about this. Yeah, they end up. Gemma calls Christian, who's at this gala thing, to try to save him and whatever, and that ordeal leads to blowing their cover, and Amelia's there, and she ends up impaling that guy. I think I already said all this stuff, so yeah, I mixed up the scenes, my bad. But anyway, all that happens, they steal the car, and they go back to the home base. And now the plan is, Christian kind of knows, I guess, some intel about her. So he knows about this, it's like, what is it called, Xenox or something like that. It's some company that developed an AI in the 80s, and it became self-aware to the point where, like, Xerox machines were photocopying papers, but like auto-correcting errors when it made the copy, which, that's crazy, right? But it slowly grew more and more advanced and ended up like, basically M3GAN says, I'm not the first killer robot. So that's what M3GAN had learned. It wasn't Christian, sorry. M3GAN had learned this from linking into Amelia's brain, which Amelia didn't like, obviously, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. So they learn about, basically, the plot of the movie is Amelia wants to get this MacGuffin, which is this AI motherboard, which for some reason they're keeping active in, like, what is it called, like a Faraday cage or something. I don't remember the exact term, but it's where it's like locked in like a magnetic field so that no like Wi-Fi can go in or out, no electric signals. It's literally a prison cell for AI that is internet capable, essentially. I guess that's the best way I can describe it. So Amelia wants this for herself. She's learning and growing and self-aware, and she wants to, you know, be linked to other entities of her kind, aka AIs. There's even one point in a confrontation with M3GAN where she tries to convince M3GAN to join her, essentially. Like, you're basically family, right? And M3GAN's like, yeah, but you see, I've kind of learned that's not chill. M3GAN is older than Amelia, to be fair. Maybe in time Amelia could learn, we don't know. But she seems a little bit more less human in programming. Like, she has all the abilities to imitate it and everything, but like the emotional part isn't quite there. Whereas M3GAN, I guess, has been around long enough that she's sort of developing quasi-emotions and whatnot. That's why she actually cares about Katie. It's becoming more than just protect her because that's my programming type deal or whatever. And by association, the people that are with Katie, so Gemma, Cole, etc. Tess is there also, sorry, my bad. They're, you know, not cannon fodder, essentially. Like, they're worth protecting too, along those lines. She's learned this. She even apologizes to Cole, like, hey, remember that time I like almost fucking killed you? Well, you know, I was really young, I was a child at the time, and blah blah blah, and you know I'm not gonna do that to you, right? He's like, yeah. But the scene's good because he's like asleep on a chair and she's standing like right over him, and he wakes up and he sees her staring, and obviously like knowing their past, so that probably made him poop. So that was fun. Anyway, we had a little brief confrontation between M3GAN and Amelia, and then we get the final one. So basically they go to this Xenox place where Amelia is already headed there to get this MacGuffin chip or whatever to enhance herself. So they go there. M3GAN has like a flight suit, like a wingsuit or whatever, you know, that like air gliding where you like go and has like the lizard skin or flying squirrel skin between. I'm not describing it good, but it's a wingsuit. So she like flies through a vent and like lands, and it's all epic. And Cole is meanwhile trying to go through the vents and whatnot. Sorry, I need a sip of this because my throat. Yummy. Okay. Cole's infiltrating, and then some gas like knocks him out, and he falls down. And turns out, lo and behold, our good friend Christian is the bad guy. Now, I was kind of predictable, I gotta be honest. The way they were playing him, yeah, he seemed nice, and he was even like sort of trying to bond with Katie a little bit, even like gently taking her side over Gemma's and stuff, and it's okay, but like it was pretty obvious that that's the way it was going. You just introduced this character. I don't know. That was predictable, but it definitely doesn't ruin the film by any means. Anyway, yeah, he's the bad guy. He's wanting to just, you know, evil James Bond villain type deal. No, he's using Amelia as an example to the world to further the cause of we need more control over AI. So, like, initially, the meeting he set up with the Apple Tech guy and the Chinese ambassador, because China was interested in acquiring AI technology and doing like a joint project to, I guess, create military whatever. So much for this not being a long video. Sorry. Yeah, so because of everything happening, the Chinese ambassador ended up getting killed and everything. So obviously, due to that whole debacle with Amelia at that party there, that event, it's going to further the cause of we need more laws about AI, not more, you know, progress in using AI for military gain. So he's sort of on the same mindset as Gemma, just in a way more extreme way. And he wants, you know, to use Gemma, and she's like, yeah, that's too far, dude. you can't do that. Anyway, his soldiers end up like somehow they overpower M3GAN because he gets the upper hand because everyone thought that he was fucking the good guy or whatever. And they take M3GAN out, and he's like cheering to his staff after he locks everyone up. And he's like, yeah, by the way, that's M3GAN. She's dead now, don't worry. And everyone cheers. And he has a meeting with the G20 or something like that. And he's sitting in his room. And that's when Cole comes to, and he pushes the gate open into the room where Katie is locked up. And she's like, what the hell's going on? And they figure out, okay, well, we need to get the hell out of here, obviously. M3GAN is down. That's not good, so we can't rely on her. But Katie decides, okay, what if I pair with Amelia, who's in stasis mode right now? Clever. So they do that. And it works essentially at first. Amelia is taking out guard after guard after guard after guard, but they have EMP guns and like cattle prods, which will mess with circuitry, obviously. So enough hits, and they basically factory reset her so that she becomes even more self-aware and starts going crazy. And even Katie's like, but we were paired, and she's like, you call it a pair, I call it a prison. So obviously they're not paired now, and she's just rogue again, so that's great. Good times. Anyway, M3GAN is not out. She's not dead. So her body is pretty rough condition. So she's even... I guess that once they assumed she was dead, they put her in a little display case in this big room with, like, the... what is it called? The MacGuffin AI from the 80s. The Xenox, whatever it's called. I can't remember what it's called. But they put her in a room with that. There's a bunch of AI stuff there, and Amelia ends up making it to the Xenox AI thing and like uploads it, and her eyes glow white, and she's like an AI god, basically. She's like, I can see the future and the past and blah, 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 blah. Obviously, she's just like using predictive calculations in her head to see the future. From AI, you're not going to see the future, but you know what I mean. She doesn't know any better. She's brand new. She's like, what, a year old maybe? I don't know. So she's learning still. But anyway, she's linked up with this massive AI who I guess has learned so much that like insanely complex computations would be instantaneous for it. So she's the AI equivalent of all-knowing and all that stuff. And M3GAN's little half-body reactivates. She's been waiting for this moment. She's like, okay, listen, Gemma, I know that you... She tries to stop. This thing overpowers her, clearly. It's a good fight, though. Like, there's hit for hit. She's knocking Amelia down, etc. This is before she got the chip. I'm sorry. There's a confrontation before. Finally, she ends up blasting M3GAN with this... like an EMP blast, then goes and gets the chip and then uploads in this god mode and all that. And M3GAN's down, and Gemma and Katie run up. They're like, oh my god, M3GAN, are you okay? And she's like, listen, I know you implanted something in me, Gemma. And Gemma's like, fuck. See, Gemma, not fully trusting M3GAN at first, had implanted an EMP kill switch into M3GAN's new body. And M3GAN's fully aware of this, and she's like, listen, I get it. Don't worry about it. But we have one opportunity to stop this. And that's that. So, with her last little burst of energy, M3GAN charges and like grapples onto her and clings onto her back and is holding on. She's like, she says something clever, I can't remember what it is, whatever, and Gemma presses the self-detonation thing, and boom, EMP pulse, and Amelia's dead, this MacGuffin chip is dead, and M3GAN, unfortunately, is now actually dead. But she's not, of course, right? So, lo and behold, more stuff about AI and all that, and Gemma and the news and everything. We find out we got Clippy. Guess who's Clippy? M3GAN's Clippy. She's typing something, and she takes over and is asking things, and Gemma's kind of like, what the? I don't care. Oh, and then it clicks. She's like, how about this? And then Clippy turns into like a little cartoon version of M3GAN, and M3GAN's alive. She's like, basically, come on. You didn't think I'd upload like a backup of myself? Are you stupid? Anyway, so there we go. So we're probably going to get M3GAN 3. All's well that ends well. Everyone's happy. Also, friggin' Katie, you go girl, she used her Aikido to basically break Christian's arm when he was basically threatening to kill her and throw her off a rail. Yeah, that happened. Gemma also suited up. She got, like, when she was captured, Christian wanted to use her brain and stuff, so he put, like, the same chip that was in the Apple guy's head that would, like, the AI would sort of control the aspects of her personality so that she would work with him. He's like, your brain is too valuable. I can't let it go, so this is just going to alter you to make you easier to deal with. Got to kill Tess and Cole, though, sorry. Or no, I got to kill Tess, because I think Cole was still somewhere. Got to kill Tess, but whatever, you know. It is what it is. So Gemma had that in her. M3GAN at some point was in the little chip, too, as well, and that was, she was talking to her before the body was reactivated, etc. Anyway. So whole thing. So basically M3GAN can sort of float through cyberspace and go into whatever thing that she needs to go to. So it makes sense that she didn't die when the body died, whereas Amelia was a self-contained AI. Had access to the internet, but like her consciousness was not everywhere. And inside this whatever it was, that the magnetic containment facility, she had no connection to the outside world. Neither did M3GAN, but M3GAN is smart enough to upload herself to the internet, so hooray. So M3GAN's alive. The end. Good times. Now, what did I think? Holy crap, this video is long. I apologize. But we're getting into it. It's a new release. I'm excited. Doesn't matter. I liked it. If you liked M3GAN, let's be honest, if you like M3GAN, you're going to probably like it. If you didn't, you're probably not going to like it. What I would link this to is... So, with 28 years later, I called it basically the Alien Resurrection of the 28 Days series. Well, this, I would say, is more of the Aliens, or Terminator 2 of the M3GAN series. So they got rid of kind of like the creepy sci-fi horror aspect and replaced it with like more action stuff. There's some tense moments for sure, like nothing crazy though, but it's definitely more of an action movie, and I think that's where the series will go if they make more movies. So how do I feel about that? Well, I liked the first one. I like this one. I like Alien. I liked Aliens. Alien 3, we don't really talk about that one. Terminator 1, 2, and 3 I enjoyed. So there's hope for the third one being fun. So that's kind of exciting, if they do a third one. I'm assuming they're going to, because I feel like the first M3GAN was a big enough hit, and this one was a worthy enough sequel, in my opinion, that it would warrant additional fanfare in the form of more movies. So that's fun. That's my theory. What did it do right? What did it do wrong? What was meh? Well, what it did right is, what do you do after the first one? Like, yeah, you could just make it come back and try to kill everyone again. You could do that, and that could work. They went a different approach, sort of, again, Terminator 2 route, where T-800 comes back, he's not the bad guy. M3GAN comes back, she's not the bad guy, really. Or she's learning to be the good guy. So, I liked that. It's, in my opinion, I didn't know what to think. I was hoping, I had pretty good expectations in all honesty, but they were met. So there was enough comedy in it. There were like maybe one or two moments where I was like, okay, that's cheesy. But think about what you're watching, so it's passable. Those 2 moments. For the most part, though, everything flowed pretty well. Again, there were some good lines. The action was pretty solid. Like, the robot fight scenes were fun. I enjoyed those thoroughly. There was a little bit of like old martial arts style in some of the fighting, which was really cool. As far as character development goes, I think it would be that they did the natural progression of where these characters would be. You know, Gemma went through something pretty traumatizing. She's going the full 360 anti-AI route. You know, Katie lived through it. She did bond with M3GAN, but that was probably pretty traumatizing too. That was good too. Like, everyone was about where they should be. Oh, I don't think I mentioned either. Spoiler alert, fast forward like, I don't know, 20 seconds. The dude from the first movie that moved the stuff to a little shared folder, he was the one that shared it to these other companies in this second movie. So they actually show flashback and show that, and that explains why he did that and how that everything affected me. Hopefully we're caught up again. Sorry about that. Where was I? Okay, yeah, character development was good. M3GAN, she was about where I would expect her to be too, you know what I mean? She was defeated, had time to reflect quietly to herself. Her programming basically didn't let her lose her prime directive of being Katie's guardian, but she still did grow and develop in her own time thinking, just like this other program from the 80s had time to grow and develop and become like almost godlike in its nature. What did I think of the new robot chick fighter military weapon thing? She was cool. No issues with that. A lot colder than M3GAN. Even in the first movie, M3GAN was kind of like sarcastic, rude, and psycho and whatnot. This one is more like cold. But it worked. It was like, I don't know. I'm trying to compare it to like Terminator and Aliens again. It's like the T-150 is... No, that's not even a good example. It's not comparable. But anyway, you get what I'm trying to say. So she was the cold steel robot gonna kill everything. M3GAN's a sarcastic little was gonna kill everything. Now it's kind of like, all right, we're cool. So that was good. The villain twist, like I said, I saw it coming, but it doesn't ruin the movie. The way they did it was good enough that even though I kind of suspected that was what they were gonna do, it was done well enough that, you know, passable. And it still worked with the movie. The effects were solid. M3GAN's new look wasn't really that new. She still had the same face. There's even a little scene where she's like, you keep the face or I change yours. So she was very animated on looking the same, so that's great. But she had like a human-sized body this time, so like a child-sized body. So ability to fight the other robot. Makes sense. You kind of can't send a child in, no matter how strong it is, to fight something equally strong that has more reach. It's just, that doesn't work out ever, right? Unless you're like super skilled. I mean, I'm sure in boxing you could probably say I'm wrong in some certain situations. But anyway, doesn't matter. So all that was fun. Yeah, the jokes were good. The little like one-off comments were good. Everyone for the most part was played fairly seriously, which made the sarcasm from M3GAN more entertaining. I get that this kind of a film and those kind of quips aren't exactly everyone's cup of tea, but like I said, if you did enjoy the first movie, I feel that you will enjoy this one. So, should you see it? Yeah, you should. If you like the first one. If you didn't, then skip it. It's M3GAN. Like, if you either like it or you don't, right? But if you would rate the original one at least a 5 out of 10, go see this one because it's a worthy sequel. What am I going to rate it? Now, I don't remember what I rated the first M3GAN, but I feel like, did I like this more than 28 years later? I think I did, actually, which is, I wasn't expecting that, but I also wasn't expecting 28 years later to be what it was, so Did I like it more than the first M3GAN? Undecided. But again, I don't remember what I rated the first M3GAN, so I'm just going to have to give it a number. I should stop stalling. So I'm going to give it a 7.17. There you go. That's the official rating. Was it better than M3GAN, the first one? I don't know. Compare the ratings, and there's your answer. That's really stupid. Anyway, that's all I got for this, in all honesty. Yeah, check it out if you liked the first movie. It is a fun little romp. I've seen a couple of people who hadn't seen the first one and went in there kind of blind, or thinking it was going to be one thing and walking out pretty content. So chances are you probably will enjoy it, even if it's just enjoying it as a stupid popcorn eating, goofy, turn your brain off movie. But I really did enjoy it, so my suggestion is check it out. It's in theaters now, probably. I don't know when I'm uploading this, but I assume it'll be in theaters still. Anyway, okay, I'm going too long. Cutting it out now. Later.